On Thanksgiving Day in 2010, the Skelton family gathered in Morenci, Michigan, for what was supposed to be a day of celebration and togetherness. The small town, located near the Michigan-Ohio border, was home to John Skelton, the father of 3 young boys: Andrew, aged 9, Alexander, aged 7, and Tanner, aged 5. Following his separation from their mother, Tanya Zuvers, John had custody of the boys for the holiday. What began as a seemingly normal family occasion soon unraveled into a nightmare that would leave the community and the nation grappling with unanswered questions.
From Michigan to Montana, from airplanes to Amish, the search for the missing Skelton brothers started right here in Morenci on Black Friday 2010.
And a daddy that loves them dearly. And I'm sure Tanya loves them too. I mean, you know, everyone's a victim, I guess.
And want answers as to why you would do this to our sons.
The boys were last seen on the morning of November 26, 2010, the day after Thanksgiving. Witnesses recall seeing them playing outside their father's house, full of youthful energy and blissfully unaware of the dark turn their lives were about to take. That morning, however, something went terribly wrong. When Tanya arrived to pick up her sons, they were gone. John Skelton claimed he had taken the boys to visit family in Ohio, but this story quickly fell apart under scrutiny. None of his relatives in Ohio had seen the children, and investigators began to suspect foul play. As pressure mounted, John offered a more peculiar explanation. He claimed that he had handed the boys over to an underground organization that specialized in protecting children from abusive homes. This claim was met with disbelief, particularly by Tanya, who adamantly denied any allegations of abuse. Tanya described herself as a loving and dedicated mother, and her life showed no signs of instability that would justify such drastic measures. Furthermore, law enforcement officials found no evidence of the so-called underground group, and John's inconsistent details about the organization only deepened the mystery. Adding to the suspicion, John's behavior after the boys' disappearance was deeply troubling. Shortly after the boys went missing, he attempted to take his own life. Though he survived, his actions cast doubt on his mental state and raised concerns about whether he might have harmed his sons. Investigators uncovered phone records that placed John in rural Ohio during the critical hours when the boys vanished. This led to extensive searches in the surrounding wilderness, including dense forests, fields, and abandoned structures. Despite exhaustive efforts, no physical evidence, no belongings, clothing, or remains was ever found, leaving investigators without a clear path forward. The theories about what happened to Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner are numerous, but none have been definitively proven. The most harrowing possibility is that John Skelton harmed his sons and concealed their remains in the remote Ohio wilderness. This theory is supported by the lack of any tangible evidence pointing to their survival. Another possibility is that John genuinely believed in the existence of the underground organization he described and gave the boys to strangers, though no trace of such a network has ever been discovered. A third, albeit less likely theory, suggests the boys could have been trafficked, but investigators found no credible leads to substantiate this claim. In 2011, John Skelton was arrested and convicted of unlawful imprisonment. He was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison, a term that reflected his refusal to cooperate with the investigation and his failure to provide any substantial information about the boys' whereabouts. Over the years, John has maintained his story about the underground organization, but his credibility has been severely undermined by his inconsistent accounts and lack of evidence. Tanya Zuvers, the boys' mother, has remained steadfast in her hope that her children are alive and will one day return home. She has worked tirelessly to keep their memory alive, often speaking publicly about her sons and the life they were robbed of. Despite the passage of time, she continues to believe that answers are out there, waiting to be uncovered. The disappearance of the Skelton brothers is a case that has left a deep and lasting impact not only on their family but also on the community of Morenci and beyond. The case has drawn widespread attention from media outlets, true crime enthusiasts, and advocacy groups dedicated to finding missing children. Yet, despite the national spotlight, the mystery remains unsolved. Every year, on the anniversary of their disappearance, candlelight vigils and memorials are held to honor Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, as their loved ones and supporters refuse to let their story be forgotten. As of today, the disappearance of the Skelton brothers remains an open and active case, with law enforcement officials diligently continuing to follow any leads that come their way. Despite these efforts, there have been no significant breakthroughs to bring clarity or closure to the mystery that has haunted the community of Morenci, Michigan, and the wider public for over a decade. The lack of resolution has left a profound sense of heartbreak and frustration that reverberates through their family, their community, and everyone who has followed their story over the years. For Tanya Zuvers, the boy's mother, the absence of Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner is an unrelenting wound that refuses to heal. Her life has been defined by the loss and the uncertainty of not knowing where her sons are, or if they are safe. The passage of time has done little to lessen the ache of their disappearance. Every day, she holds on to the hope that one day answers will emerge, and she will finally know the truth about what happened to her children. In the face of unimaginable pain, Tanya has shown remarkable strength, refusing to let her son's memory fade into obscurity. She has remained a vocal advocate for their case, speaking at events, participating in search efforts, and sharing their story to keep their names alive in the public consciousness. For the people of Morenci, the brothers' disappearance serves as a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can linger even in the most seemingly safe and close-knit communities. The town, which once knew the Skelton boys as playful and bright children full of potential, has been left with an air of sadness and unanswered questions. The hope for answers is shared by many, who continue to grieve alongside Tanya and keep the boys in their thoughts. The case has left an indelible mark on the town, shaping a collective sense of vigilance and an understanding that tragedy can touch even the most familiar of places. The Skelton brothers, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner, continue to live on in the hearts of those who knew them, their memory preserved by the stories shared and the love that never fades. Their faces are kept alive through photos, remembrances, and the prayers of those who hold out hope for a resolution. Their story is a call for justice and an enduring reminder that missing children deserve to be found, and that every case, no matter how long unsolved, deserves continued attention and effort. Until the truth is uncovered, their disappearance remains one of the most haunting and perplexing mysteries of modern times, a story that resonates with anyone who hears it, and a case that will never be forgotten.